All right, Anthony on our podcast back for another episode. Big story today. The Apollo CEO, Leon Black, this billionaire who stood by Jeffrey Epstein, is being exposed as we speak. So we'll dive into the latest developments with that. Plus, we've got Ghislaine Maxwell, never before seen photographs at a fundraiser for, you'll never guess what. This is insane. And then finally, we are going to review the latest Adam Sandler Netflix film, or at least Janine is going to do that. So big episode here. Let's talk about Leon Black. This is actually happening right now as we speak because of a New York Times article. There's Leon Black right there. He is the chairman and CEO of a lot of companies, but most notably Apollo Global Management. He has been linked to Jeffrey Epstein in the past, but a report from the New York Times has uncovered a number of alleged payments from Leon Black to Jeffrey Epstein made through several companies to as late as 2018. And again, this is important because in 2007, he was arrested originally. So keep that in mind that most people of dignity cut ties with him in 2007. And that was the end of it. But this article here is pointing out that Leon Black may have funneled as much as $75 million to Jeffrey Epstein up until 2018.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
A company that owned Leon Black's yacht wired $22.5 million to a company that managed Epstein's private jet in 2017. That move raised a question at Deutsche Bank's anti-crime. Like Deutsche Bank has basically, they have people that are looking at all these things to make sure that crime isn't happening. And so this little thing raised a flag. Other transactions passed through Black-owned businesses, according to the report, including a company that Black used to buy much of his billion-dollar art collection. The total amount of money that Black may have funneled to Epstein is around $75 million, which may have allowed Epstein to continue building wealth following his first criminal case. Black owns roughly 23% of Apollo Management Group, according to a Forbes profile. He also chairs the New York Museum of Modern Art and serves as a member of the Council on Foreign Relations.
Oh, God. Okay.
So check all the boxes. Billionaire, New York socialite, and in government as a member of the Council of Foreign Relations. So he's involved in, government foreign relations. Since the initial subpoena of Leon Black in August, Apollo stock has steadily declined, falling from around $54 a share to $42 a share in late December. The stock started to rally over the past couple of weeks, but these revelations may rock the stock value again. I believe, don't quote me on this, but at the time of this podcast, I think the stock itself is down 5% today alone.
Wow.
Which is a huge drop. Huge. Yes, according to a tweet from David Enrick, Apollo is getting crushed. Its stock is down nearly 5%. That's about $500 million of market value completely wiped out.
Okay.
Big time.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of cash. This is the fall of Leon Black because of his involvement of Jeffrey Epstein, and probably rightfully so. So here's what we have here. Apollo accordingly moved swiftly to distance both Black and itself from Epstein's dealing. Spokesperson for Black said in a statement to Fox Business, Apollo never did any business with Mr. Epstein. We understand that the U.S. Virgin Islands Attorney General is seeking information from Mr. Black, several major banks, and others as third-party witnesses in a civil probe of entities set up by Mr. Epstein in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Mr. Black intends to cooperate fully with any such inquiry. U.S. Virgin Islands officials subpoenaed Black in August as part of an ongoing lawsuit that the Virgin Islands Attorney General Denise and George filed against the Epstein estate. We've been saying this Denise George is going to be a huge part of this because she has nothing to lose and she's just running hard for answers. The spokesperson noted that it is important to say that Black is not being investigated for anything. He continues to be appalled by Epstein's conduct, which led to the 2019 criminal charges. He deeply regrets having any involvement with Epstein, he said in a statement. Here's the thing, though. there's a difference between what he said in the past and what actually happened. So in the past, he said there's been a virtual tsunami in the press on the subject, and it seems like it's never going to stop. He said that Apollo wasn't involved in any of this, that it was Epstein and his private family. What's the word that he used here? It was Black's family money, not the company. Okay. Like he set him up for this. But we now know this. Epstein frequently hosted Mr. Black at his New York mansion, usually meeting him for breakfast or lunch, according to 4 people familiar with their relationship. In 2012, while on a family vacation in the Caribbean, Leon Black traveled by yacht to attend a cookout at Mr. Epstein's private island residence in the U.S. Virgin Islands, 2 of the people said. So while he was on a family vacation, he took a yacht to the island to go to a cookout.
Okay, that is weird.
In 2011, Mr. Epstein's financial advisory firm, Financial Trust, joined Mr. Black and members of his family in investing in a small emissions control company. According to an archived version of one of Mr. Epstein's websites, the men visited Mr. Black's alma mater, Harvard, together, although the university stopped receiving gifts from Epstein after his 2008 plea. According to a report by the university, Mr. Black had given at least $5 million to professors, and Mr. Epstein's staff members had played a role in facilitating the Black donations. So Harvard turns around and goes, we're not going to take money from you anymore. And Epstein turns around and gets this guy to give the money instead.
Wow. Okay.
And then Epstein goes ahead and donates money to the charities that Black wanted him to give money to.
Oh, yeah. That's weird.
That is super bizarre. So, like, if this guy is telling the truth about his company not being involved with Epstein, still, do you want a company run by somebody who is doing business with someone who was convicted of being an offender?
No.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So Leon Black today sent a letter to his investors saying, it is true that I paid Mr. Epstein millions of dollars annually for his work from 2012 to 2017. He also confirmed that he brought his family to that picnic on the island.
Okay.
Now, let's play a little devil's advocate here, J-Sabs, because we have the time. Does that mean that this guy, Leon Black, is an absolute psychopath and he's crazy to bring his kid to a family picnic on a island like that? Or did they do legitimate things on that island to cover up all the other things that they were doing over there? Like, I don't think that he brought his family on, crazy day. You know what I mean?
No, probably not.
But still,
there would have to be a lot of covering up to do that.
I mean, that's a little nuts.
Yeah.
He said in the letter today, as I previously stated, Mr. Epstein provided professional services to entities affiliated with my family regarding estate planning, tax, and philanthropic endeavors. I have never tried to conceal these facts. It is true I paid Mr. Epstein millions of dollars annually for his work, which he provided from 2012 to 2017. It is also worth noting that of all of Mr. Epstein's advice was vetted by leading auditors, law firms, and other professional advisors.
I mean, was he that good?
Importantly, there has never been an allegation by anyone, including the New York Times, that I engaged in any wrongdoing or inappropriate conduct. I think this guy is trying to say that... Oh, here we go. Hold on. The New York Times story reports certain instances in which I spent time with Mr. Epstein. For example, I traveled with Mr. Epstein to Boston to meet several prominent Harvard professors as a part of my family's philanthropic efforts. 2 of my children traveled with me and joined the meetings. On a separate occasion, my family and I made a short visit to Mr. Epstein's private island and had a picnic lunch with him while on a family holiday nearby. As the story notes, both instances were isolated and brief, and in each case, I was accompanied by members of my immediate family. From time to time, I also met with Mr. Epstein at his townhouse in New York City because that is where he conducted business. Mr. Epstein did not have a separate professional office.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Why wouldn't he have that?
What?
Why wouldn't he have a separate professional office?
That's a great question. Why wouldn't he have a separate professional office? I don't know. Why wouldn't he? You're right. He wouldn't. That's really weird.
That is really weird.
Overall, he was just a weird guy. I don't think he was like a conventional guy who just had this bizarre thing going behind closed doors. I think he was just an overall just strange dude. And that was confirmed when we saw the way he decorated his private airplane, like it was a 1975 living room in Brooklyn.
Right.
It was disgusting.
Ew.
But I think this guy is saying like, oh, hey, I didn't take part in any of that stuff, so like none on me. But yeah, but you gave this guy a ton of money for
what?
BS work that funded his awful habit. I mean, this guy needs to go to jail. I'm sorry. Like, this guy is part of the problem.
Yeah, he definitely gave him money for something else. That's at least in my professional opinion.
Thanks for giving us your professional opinion, Janina. I really appreciate that. Yeah, like, I mean, you're trying to act like you saw the plea in 2007.
Right.
He was convicted. He served prison time.
And you're still going to do business with him? I don't think so.
He should have been dropped and that's the thing with some of these crazy rich billionaire guys. Like, they will go to all insane lengths just to come and make a profit. And it's like, I don't think you need to make money that much that you need to work with a convicted offender.
No, not at all.
And not like, I just exposed myself on the playground offender. No, somebody who ran a ring, you know what I mean? Like,
come on.
Insane.
Let's go.
Absolutely insane. I want to get to these never before seen photos of Ghislaine Maxwell, but first I have to talk about the absolute best soap that I have ever used, J-Sabs. This is Hero Soap Company, made by a veteran right here in the US of A. If you buy America all the way, if you buy a bar of soap, they send a bar of soap over to the troops, and also some of the proceeds from each sale go to help build mortgage-free homes for veterans returning from service. So that is truly, truly extraordinary. I think they do an unbelievable job. No parabens in their soap, none of the junk or chemicals that you see in any of the other major national soap brands. This is pure. They put it in this first-class, weatherproof packaging. Everything that this company does is completely first class. And I absolutely love the way the soap feels. The peppermint and cool literally makes you tingle and cools you down.
Tingle.
It's very nice. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very, very nice as you shower. And like I've been saying, it made my bathroom smell like an actual spa. It was really, it's so worth it. And they have these convenient subscriptions where you can say, hey, send me 2 bars of soap a month. And every month they'll send you 2 bars of soap and you could change up. Yep. Isn't that crazy? Isn't it?
That is crazy.
You know, it's crazy. I don't want to say mom and pop store, but this is a small business started by a veteran. The fact that he's able to build in a subscription-based product is kind
pretty amazing.
Yeah, it really, really is. Like, we didn't really have that years ago. And now that we have the ability to do that, it's just great. It's just I like it a lot. And I'm very lazy. So I'm big on, let me just do this once and then stuff will just show up at my door. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. So grab some Hero Soap Company for yourself. Link in the description of this episode. Or if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, you can just open up the camera app and point it towards the screen here. And the QR code will take you directly to the page. Of course, we get credit for every bar of soap you buy. That's how you can support our podcast. But more than anything, it's what it does for our veterans that we love. 20% off on a subscription if you use the promo code Anthony while you're there on the site. You can also click the link on the banner at anthonyonair.com. So grab a bar of Hero Soap for yourself. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. There's just no way you're not going to love it. This is like, do you remember when you grew up drinking Budweiser and then you had a craft beer and you were like, oh my God, that's what...
Like what?
That's what this tastes like.
Town.
Yeah, but it's like a legit thing. You
Oh,
know?
this is what beer is supposed to taste like.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It's like we all
Yes.
love like a Hostess cupcake, but like when you go down to the corner cupcake shop and get a real cupcake, you can distinctly tell the difference. That's kind of what
Definitely.
happens with the soap and national brands. So pick up a
Right.
bar of soap from Hero Soap Company. You know what? I'm rebooting a thing over here. So let's talk about Adam Sandler, and then third topic we'll make the Ghislaine photos.
Okay.
So Sandler's got a new film on Netflix. He signed like a huge deal with Netflix. This is called Hubie. What is it? Hubie Halloween?
I think it's Hubie Halloween.
Hubie Halloween? Okay. I thought it was Hubby Halloween. And it's him and the woman from Modern Family who I love.
Yes.
The mom from Modern Family, who was actually in Billy Madison with him.
Yes.
So this is
A
a little bit
long
of
time ago.
a long time ago. So this is a little bit of a reunion. You have a review, Janine.
Well, first, not only she and he were in it, but a lot of stars were in it,
Really?
which made it even better. Yes.
Yeah, he's got a huge Dan Patrick, who's a radio guy, sports radio guy, is always in his movies.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Matthews will show up on occasion, and I love Dave
That's true.
Matthews. So that
I
was
know you do.
yeah. Were either of those two in it?
Um, I don't think no. Dave Matthews was in it. The first guy, I don't know if he was in it, but of course Rob Schneider was in it.
Oh yeah.
Maya Rudolph.
Okay.
What's his name? The one who had, he's from SNL. I'm forgetting his name, but he was obviously good in that too. There was a few stars. There's so many that I can't remember it.
Okay. So give me the overall. Did you like it? Did you hate it?
I would say, since it's a Halloween movie, it gets an extra few stars.
Right.
And I generally like him, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because, oops, look how mad I got. He has to make a movie every time with a dumb voice. Like he always has to. Within seconds, when it started, I said to my husband, do we really have to watch him do this the whole entire time? It's an hour and 43 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can handle myself through this.
Was it the was it that Sandler? That's the one? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I get it for 1 or 2 movies, but pretty much every movie he's been in, he makes these dumb. I just hate it. I don't know if it's even a voice. Is it a persona? What would you say?
I think it's part of his repertoire. He's always been doing that. Even when he was doing the old, songs on SNL at Weekend Update, he would break into like that little voice thing that he did, and yeah.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
It's him. It's just like enough is enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would have been good. I would have been better without it. Honestly.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like Little Nicky, I don't think I've actually watched Little Nicky all the way through because of his voice in that movie.
Really?
I will say that. Yeah, I bowed out on Little Nicky.
And you like him?
Huge fan. Yeah.
Just that voice. So you agree with me then?
It's just that voice. I also think there's this weird thing happening because the last movie I saw of his was the one with him and Jennifer Aniston on Netflix.
Yes. Okay.
Murder Mystery, I think it was called, or something like that. It was okay, I think that they found these ways to make these movies now for a certain amount of money. All his friends, like from his standpoint, I get it. They're giving me a boatload of money. I get to put all my friends in the movie. Nobody's watching my back and cares what I do, so I could do it. But at the same time, they've kind of become a little formulaic.
Yep.
And
it's true.
And they're becoming. I would love to see him go back and reach into something completely different.
Yes, like I just can't remember any serious movie of his.
I like the
Like
one that he did with Chris Rock not that long ago. That was also a Netflix one where their kids were getting married.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch the whole thing.
But again, that was that was another formulaic thing of like two different families from two different backgrounds, and dads don't get along, and hilarity ensues when they have to be friends. Like it's like the same. There's like 5 of those movies out right now that are just.
It's true.
You know.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should watch the movie though.
Was it good? Like good enough to like?
I liked it.
Was it funny or was it like?
Yes, it was. It was.
And he does the voice the whole time.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. He doesn't need to do the voice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he doesn't need to. He's funny without it.
Right.
So come on.
But this is the problem with Sandler. Like, you need somebody in there. You need like a big movie exec to be like, hey, you know what? Don't do the voice.
Cut that for one movie.
Yeah. But the problem with those people is then they have 17,000 other notes that wind up strangling a film, you know, and not making it funny to begin with, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Sandler,
it was good.
He's also in that, there's that time period where you're not struggling anymore. You're not hungry. No. You've kind of conquered it all and there's nothing really left for you to do, you know?
Yeah. So it doesn't really matter if he still does it.
Yeah, it doesn't. And Netflix is like, we don't care as long as we're putting them out and people are like, you put that on and you hate it. Netflix could care less. They just don't care. Yeah. It doesn't have to be that good anymore, which I think is a problem. You know?
It's true.
I saw this thing that it was on. I've become a big fan of Rob Schneider. Like I
like him.
His last couple of stand-up episodes were really, really funny. Really.
Have you watched his show on Netflix or no?
I haven't watched his show yet. No.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
I had him on. I had him on my old show too, and I can't.
Did you
remember.
really?
Yeah, I think we spoke briefly. He was very cordial and good, but I hated the interview because I didn't ask him all the questions that I wanted to ask him. But I saw this documentary, not a documentary, but it was this like little documentary piece on, what was the one where he was the dad, not stepdad. Remember Sam? It was the early one.
Oh.
Where he adopts the kid.
Yes.
What was that
What
called?
is that called?
Daddy? Big Daddy?
Yeah, I think it's called Big Daddy.
It was Big Daddy? So
that's a good one.
He wanted Schneider to play the Jon Stewart role, but the studio was like, no, you got to put Jon Stewart in the movie because Jon Stewart was like super hot at the time. He was like killing it on the Daily Show.
What happened there?
Yeah. Oh.
Go ahead.
So he was killing on a Daily Show. So he was like, forget it. So Schneider was like, oh, this sucks. So Sandler goes, just come to the movie anyway. We're going to find a role for you. So he's like, no, I don't, they want, the studio doesn't want, he's like, just come, just show up. So Schneider shows up and Sandler goes, look, I got this role for the delivery boy. Their delivery guy. There's nothing, but we'll write some stuff for you. Hang around. And he's like, I don't want to do this. He's like, just hang around. So they write this thing, and he winds up being in like all like the great scenes of the movie. Mm-hmm. And there's a point where the social worker guy shows up unannounced at Sandler's house. And as he's leaving, Schneider goes, I know you. You order 3-piece of cheesecake all the time. And I still quote that line and laugh at that line. Especially like somebody has cheesecake, I always go, give me 3-piece of cheesecake. You know, I always like to say that, even in my own head if I don't say it out loud. But that was all improv. Schneider wrote it. Sandler was like, just try this, and he wound up cutting him into the whole movie and getting this like nice juicy part when he had no part to begin with.
Ah,
that's a good guy. That's Sandler's a good dude. You know,
he is. He always helps his friends. He does.
Yeah. So like I like him from that standpoint, but at the same time, like when you're watching an episode, you're like, oh my God, this, you know, or movie or something, it stinks. You know. Right. I started watching Succession on HBO. Okay. First episode was so good. I was like, we are locked into this. I'm like, I'm hooked. Second episode. It's about like this guy he's like a media mogul. He runs a company and he's old. He's getting up there in age and he's going to turn it over to his family. They're like billionaires. and everything, and then like he's gonna give it to his son, and then he's like, I don't know. He kind of starts to pull back towards the end of the pilot, and it was like real. It's Macaulay Culkin's younger brother, Kieran Culkin, is amazing in it. He's like
Really?
he plays like the wacky, erratic younger brother, you know. And it was really good. We watched the first episode. We were like, wow, this is really good. I watched the second episode and I was like falling asleep. I was like, this kind of.
Oh, I hate that.
But I'm sticking with it because everybody says it's a really, really good show. And they're 2 seasons in, and the third season's going to come out pretty soon. So
Maybe I'll have to watch that. I'm still in the middle of Dexter.
you still what?
We're in season 5.
You know what? I watched Dexter back in the old days, kids, when they used to put out shows once a week on an actual cable network. I watched Dexter every week. And the first like season and a half, I loved it. And then I just kind of fell out of it.
Yeah.
I got a little tired.
No, it's good.
The premise of that show is amazing, though.
Oh, it is.
So
like,
good. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't finished watching Dexter, but I give that my gold seal of approval as well. All right, so here these are these unearthed photos of Ghislaine Maxwell. She shows up in 2013, and the Sun just got these photos. Here's a shot of her right there. These are from 2013. I'll just hold it up for the camera so people that are watching can see. All right, this is 2013. She shows up at a fundraising event for a group that fights sex trafficking. Like, you can't make this stuff up.
I mean, maybe she went there to try to recruit women. I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you do?
It's like, how do you show your face there? Like, don't you feel bad about stuff, Janine? Like, I feel bad for things that I say to people. Sometimes I maybe mistreat people. You know, it was funny. I was just reconnecting with an old coworker, and I was thinking about like the 1 or 2 occasions where I was like a little nasty and could have been nicer, and like
you
beating. Yeah. Oh no. Come on. Like I could be a little nasty sometimes. And
while at work.
Yeah. Well, it was my first.
What did you say to her? Hold on, I'll tell you.
No, it's not that I said anything nasty, but it was a difficult job. It was my first time really managing people. And the worst part about it was I couldn't manage them the way I wanted to because my boss wanted to like direct how everything was going to go. And it was like, no, just let me run with this. And so she would second guess things. And so then I would second guess things, and then I would like send people to different spots, or I would take something, and then it would be like, why are you taking all the things to do? And then I would give more to people, and then they would be like, well, you're not getting, and it was like, it was a little bit of a rough go. Overall, I probably could have handled the whole thing better, and I feel a little bad about it, but it's nothing like, if I would have said this to her and apologized to her, I would have probably looked like the biggest psychopath ever, because it was nothing.
Really?
Yeah, because it was not like I made her feel bad or mistreated her or anything. I could have probably just done a better job and been nicer at the end of the day.
Okay. Well, you know what? She probably noticed it.
I don't know. But or there would be times where like I wouldn't explain why I would do things a certain way, and I would just be short with them and be like, just this is how we're doing it. Like, forget it. Because I'd be so frustrated with what I had to deal with above.
Yes.
On the other side of it, it was a lot. It was really annoying. So,
yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't like that. Not like getting like from above. You don't really get what you're supposed to get, and then you have to give the information out to the team.
I hate it.
And then they come to you and ask you more questions that you're not sure of. Yeah. And then you have to go back to your boss and ask them the questions, and then they get mad at you for asking the question.
Yeah. I hate
all that.
It's like, do a better job hiring people, give them the responsibility, and let them run with it. And if they can't run with it, then you fire them and you find somebody else.
See, I worked with someone who could not let anyone run with it, but then didn't give clear direction.
Yeah. Oh,
Imagine that.
that is always the little salt and pepper seasoning on top. Oh, and by the way, let me be a bad communicator with no direction, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Deal with a lot of that. That's very, very commonplace in
No,
workplace.
no. You go with it. Well, where do you want me to start? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And you're like, if I was allowed to do this myself,
Yeah.
I would go this way with it. But because then you have to deal with them, and it becomes a nightmare. It becomes a nightmare.
Oh, I know.
That's why if you find a situation where somebody lets you just do your job and run with it, hold on to that.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good old situation. But anyway, I found myself like thinking specifically
Now?
about the incidents, not
Oh,
incidents,
really?
but like the days where I was like a little nasty or a little short, and
Do I know this person?
no, you wouldn't.
Okay.
You wouldn't know this person. She's a great person too. She's super nice. At the end, it all wound up doing well because actually the boss who stunk got blown out,
Good.
and her and I wound up like co-running the department for a little while there, and then we got along really well, and I don't know. I think she understood some of the messed up parts of everything, but whatever. But my point is, I bring this up because I was thinking about those stupid little moments and feeling bad about it. This piece of work over here, after what she did to all these girls for all these years, has the gall to show her face at a fundraising event where you're going to be photographed, right, in front of all these people in 2013. This is 6
Come on.
years after
After.
he's convicted for the first time, which is
See?
unbelievable. The group's founder, which is Stop the Trafficking of People, which STOP, Stop the Trafficking of People.
Okay.
Celia D. Laverne said to the Sun, she's got some nerve. She told the paper, but I'm not surprised. I've come to realize that these people need to appear to be doing good and make people believe it. It wasn't clear what role Maxwell played at the event or how many of the organizers were seemingly unaware of her connections to Epstein, who had already served jail time at this time. But yeah, she showed up at this event, and we'll put links to the photos below. We just got the photos for the first time ever. And she was just, walking around eating cocktail weenies with everybody else. Taking the champagne off of the trays of the waiters, and it's yeah, like
I see what you're saying. Like you might have been kind of, mean to people, but now you feel so bad. So you can imagine what she's doing.
like
No, I
what
know.
breaks in your head that you don't have that thing of like, oh, I shouldn't. Also, like, was there no fear that
No.
somebody in this community was going to be like, hey, weren't
Why are you
you?
here?
Yeah, weren't
Yeah.
you right hand man to Jeffrey Epstein? Like, and here's the thing too, and I want to like reiterate this too, because people say this to me all the time, to us all the time, like, why don't you do this, or why don't you talk about that, or what? Like, hey, we're not investigating things. Like, things are being investigated and being brought to light. Like, somebody will be like, why didn't you talk about these photos before? Well, because they just came to light. All this stuff takes time, so I don't expect everybody to know like who she was and who he was. But if you run in this circle of trying to stop this, I mean, it's like collecting basketball cards and not knowing who Michael Jordan is or Scottie Pippen. It's like you kind of got to know
Yeah.
who the players are in the game. You know what I mean?
I agree. People
Unless
know who he and her were.
they had to have known, and she just showed up and took pictures with people. Like, took pictures with the organizers too. Like, just took photos with people.
Yeah, no.
Like, the craziest thing ever. By the way, if you want to see all the photos, we'll put that in the link in the description below. So again, I feel like I'm a little bit of a broken record, but her hubris in these instances is just beyond me. Like I said, I beat myself up a little bit just for being short with somebody that I literally. So when I was reconnecting with this person, I go, should I say, hey, I'm sorry if I was ever, and then I thought I would look like an psychopath.
No, you know what? I don't think you would. I really don't think you would.
You don't think so?
I don't think so because you know what? I remember everyone who was nasty to me.
But
Oh no, I really do. This is quick, but I used to work on Wall Street with stockbrokers, and this one guy, he probably thought he was totally normal,
mm-hmm.
but he had a bit of a steroid problem, and he would get in these rages.
Really?
And this is how I know he didn't even know. So one day he came in the office, and as I was on the phone, and he's talking to me, and I'm like this. Hold on 1 minute.
You giving him the 1 second, like just give me a second. Yeah.
And he kept going and going. And I'm like, someone's on the phone. So he screamed on top of his lungs, "What, do you have your period or something?" Oh, yeah. And the girl who was working with was like, don't mind him. Like, this is how he gets. And I'm like, oh, no. He is not going to talk to me like that.
That is
So
wildly inappropriate.
Yes. Hello. But like, I want to say maybe a week after that, I bumped into him in Best Buy with Gaetano. And he acted like nothing happened. Maybe just because Gaetano was there. Gaetano thought it was hysterical, by the way. I came home and I told him, he was laughing. And I was like, he was just like, "Oh, hi, Jenny, how are you? What are you doing in Best Buy for?" And I was like, oh, hell no.
So he never he never came up to you afterwards and apologized for it?
No. But I did tell someone, like, because he heard like something happen. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to fly.
Yeah.
You better not ever say anything like that again. And then I was contemplating putting Visine like in his protein shakes.
Yeah.
I didn't though.
You. I'm glad you didn't do that.
Right.
Did you really not do that?
I really didn't do that.
What movie is that where they do that and they causes diarrhea or something?
I don't know. Yes, it does.
Is that where you got that from?
Yes.
So stupid. Visine. I would have at least went with like an actual like diarrhea causing thing instead of Visine.
Laxative or something.
Yeah.
You can't trace Visine. So it just goes to show you, like, he just didn't even know. Like, he didn't even remember doing this, I guess.
It also just goes to show you how poorly tasting protein drinks are that you could put Visine in them and nobody would notice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to scream at that, at someone with that.
So you think he didn't even know? He didn't even remember doing it. That's so crazy.
Because even when I left that job, like, nothing was ever mentioned after that. Like, he never even acknowledged it. That's what I mean. Like, maybe he just got into a steroid rage and just like didn't remember what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Crazy.
Man, that is crazy. That is completely nuts. I would never.
I have some good work stories, don't I?
You really do.
And you haven't even heard half of them.
Because you worked at some crazy. Wall Street is a crazy.
It is.
I'm putting that on the list of places where my children are not going to be allowed to pursue a career.
There's not going to be a Wall Street in 20 years. Come on. There's barely one now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, are they back? They're back to. I know they're back on the floor, but are they back at full capacity? Are they still like limiting the amount of people that could go in there? And
I think they're still limiting it, right?
That would probably make sense to me. Actually, I don't know, but that's a weird like. You look at Wolf of Wall Street, that movie, like that is so crazy. Some of the things that went on.
That's true.
My only experience with this, and I've said this before though, but I worked for a bunch of brokers at one point, very, very early on in my career. They were super nice to me. But I worked for them. They both had families and we were in Long Island at the time. But the stories that they used to tell when they were starting in the city and at Wall Street were just flat out insane.
Well, it just goes to show you, like, both the firms I worked at are no longer in business, and nobody's doing that anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Were you at like one of those chop shop kind of places?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Both of them.
So I was working for the guys that I was working for, and I love the movie Boiler Room. Did you ever see Boiler Room?
Yes.
Giovanna Ribisi. It's like a indie. It's like Vin Diesel, like when he had like super young Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, like crazy. Jamie Kennedy, like all these things. It's kind of random, but it's really good, and it's like shot in Queens, and a lot of Biggie quotes and stuff like that. It's really, really well done. If you've never seen
Biggie.
it, watch it.
Biggie.
Oh, there you go. I didn't even look at you. See,
Biggie.
I didn't even look at your shirt. So yeah, it's got like it's really, really good. So I was talking to the guy I worked for, and he was like, "Oh, I know all about that place." And I was like,
Yep.
"Oh, did you work for something like it?" He goes, "No, I worked for that exact place."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You're kidding." And he had the same thing. He was like, nobody would let him trade early on, but that place, so he was like, "I'll just go there."
Yeah, that's kind of like where I worked and where Nick worked
Yeah.
and where Gaetano worked.
And those places
Yep.
get so big. Did you all work there?
Nick, Gaetano, and Anthony worked at one, right down the block from where I worked.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I'd say most of those people there too, I don't think they work at any brokerage houses anymore.
Yeah, well, that's the tough part. You get too high up in those chop shop places that just steal people's money, and then you can't get a job anywhere else.
Nope.
Yeah,
Can't do that stuff anymore.
I don't know. It's funny though, isn't it funny with these memories, like how things just flash into your head and you've not thought about them for years, and then all of a sudden they're like, just like it's like they just kind of have. I cannot believe that guy said that to you. What year was this?
That was in 2008.
12 years ago.
Yep.
See, he'd be fired probably today. Even at a chop
Yeah.
shop, I feel like he would be fired.
And you know what's funny? Like at the time, I got really mad. But like now, I laugh at it. But he's nothing compared to someone I worked for. So it doesn't
Somebody
even
else.
matter.
Yeah. No, but I would get mad at that because that first of all, that is just slamming you for being a woman, and one has nothing to
Right.
do with the other. You're you're giving them the 1 sec I'm on the phone. You know, there's nothing.
Well, here's the other thing too. Like both the firms I worked at, they were like the brokers were trained to yell at people. Like they would call them up and be like, "Hey, what are you doing? What do you mean you're not going to buy any stocks from me?"
Yeah.
And like just berate these people. And these people would give them money.
I
So
know.
I guess that switch was kind of hard to turn off when you would come talk to the girls in the office. You know what I mean?
That's
Because
probably
you're
what it
so
was.
up here and then you have to go down.
And you weren't giving him what he wanted at that exact second, so he went into that. Yeah.
Well, exactly. Plus the steroids. It was definitely all the steroids. There's no doubt.
That's crazy.
He walked like this.
That had to be tough for your husband too. Your husband laughed at all. See, I would have been pissed. I would have probably.
He's like, "So what did you say?" I was like, I was just like, "Oh, actually, I did say something to him.
You did.
I told him that I was going to punch him in his face." I do remember saying that. Because he said, "What did you say?" And I'm like, "I told him I was going to punch him in his face." And he was like, "Okay, good for you." Because I really think I would have. If he didn't get out of there, I would have punched him. And been fired then.
Yeah, no, I probably would have swung a DVD player at him if I was at Best Buy and saw him. I would at least chucked a DVD from the $3 bargain bin at him. That would have been, yeah. That's like, Dee had that one. My wife had that once where she was working early on in our relationship. She worked somewhere and some guy was like a real jerk to her. And I kind of had that, like, you know, like you want to go
You
there.
did?
No, like you have that feeling of like, let me just talk to the guy, and she's like, no, that's not appropriate. But you have this like mentality of like, that's how you used to settle things. Like if somebody was mean to your girlfriend in the schoolyard, you went and straightened
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suddenly you get to, like, I remember her sitting me down and being like, this is a professional environment. This is how this works. Like you can't, you know,
I get what you're trying to do though. Like you just want to protect her.
you want to be protected.
So you
Yeah.
want to go to the man and be like, sorry, that's not how you're going to treat her.
Yeah. Cause then we had the
But
similar thing where like, then like the Christmas party came around and I was like, he better not come up to me because we can't. It wasn't like he did anything super crazy, but it's like, I'm not going to smile at the guy, to be like, hey, whatever. But she left that place shortly thereafter too. So
yeah,
it's amazing how many crummy, like awful places there are to work.
there really are. And like how they stay in business.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. Wish we would do a better job with that making the work environment like more. And you know what? It's especially heartbreaking when it is like a fun business. Like when you're just like stamping sheet metal, like, okay, I get it. That's boring. Like when I was at the airport, like we were just moving boxes. That was like dull and everybody hated it. I get it. But some of these places do some kind of fun things. It's like not like you should be really like have this like awful environment.
Right. And like not for nothing. I make it fun to work if you work with me. Can you see that?
I will say you're definitely one of those people that you like to work with because you make the day pass because you're just like, what's the
Yes,
next
I
goof?
do.
Yeah.
I like to pull pranks.
Yes.
Okay. I like to tell you funny stories. Okay. I like to make fun of you.
Also
But
important.
I'm not going to scream in your face. I do make the workday go faster. Come on.
Yeah.
Ask any of my coworkers. Ask Lee. Because we were coworkers.
I just can't wait for more stories. Like I'm excited to see what we have in store for the future on future episodes.
And just as things come up, I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Any other crazy stories before we go there, Jay Sabs?
No, not from that place. Unless it comes up, I have to think.
Well, that's the thing. Like weird things like just jog your memory of like, I had forgotten. Here was the thing too, going back to the girl that I worked with, I forgot that we wound up taking over everything and splitting everything down the middle. So like,
Okay.
I forgot there was like this whole like nice period where we just like got along swimmingly, and, did our thing that way. But it was definitely like strange. Like I do wish I wish there was an easy way for you to just like apologize for your past stupid like things.
Ooh.
Without looking crazy, you know what I mean? Like without being.
Here's the thing though. I don't think you'll look crazy. Because girls remember stuff. You could be like, hey, listen. Don't think I'm overthinking this. But I know I could have been a real back in the day.
Yeah, but like that whole team, I wish I could apologize to that whole team and be like, I'm sorry, I wish I would have been better at it.
Oh, see, now that's nice.
Because
Okay.
I feel bad about it. I feel, I do. I also
Do you
feel.
think that guy wants to apologize to me? No.
You think he thinks about it? Maybe he does. Maybe it drives him crazy to this day.
I wish I could find her and apologize to her about her period.
Maybe he's off the roidies and he's like, I wish I could find her and apologize to her.
Now I'm going to go look him up on Facebook.
There should just be a way of like, like there's like a weird, like, okay, so I don't talk to a guy, right? We talked about this last time.
Oh, yeah.
Guy and I were close friends through college. We have a falling out, right? He's mad at me, whatever. I'm mad at him for being mad at me. All these years have passed. We've had kids. It's amazing how much getting married and have kids. You look back at some of the old stuff and you're like, you're just too tired and you don't even care anymore,
It's true.
Like I couldn't name half the stuff for you. I know that I don't want to be close friends anymore, but I wish there was a way I could just be like, hey, no biggie, like whatever, like water under the bridge. Like I'm not mad. Like let's just whatever. Like we don't have to be good friends, but I don't have any more animosity towards you.
You know what? You could say just that.
I
This
think
is the problem with men.
But this is the problem. I think the second you reach out and say those things, you're the psychopath that's holding on to this.
No, I wouldn't think that. I really wouldn't.
You don't think so?
But then again, I hold a grudge. So if you have with me years ago, don't you forget that I don't forget.
Dude,
Okay?
I never forget anything.
Okay.
First
me
guy,
either, so.
First guy I tried to get a radio job with totally blew me off. By the way, rightfully so. Should have. Like, who the hell was I coming out of like, I thought I was like the most amazing thing ever though. I wound up getting hired at a place, met the guy just before he left. So we did have a talk there, and I didn't get my revenge moment there. Then we wound up doing what we were doing, and then we came in contact with each other, and I would consider him an acquaintance, good friend, like from a distance kind of a thing. Still haven't brought it up to him yet, but I still hold it in the back of my mind every time I see him that he was the guy that would not take the phone call from me when I called.
Yeah.
I've not let any of that go.
I don't blame you.
Nope.
Sorry.
Do you hold on to sick, crazy grudges from years ago? Let us know in the comments. Shoot us a tweet.
Please comment below.
Comment below. I want to hear about the crazy. Maybe we'll use this as a little therapy session. What are the crazy grudges that you're holding on to? But like I said, like transversely, like I hope that old team of mine ain't holding on to those grudges, and then I'm the person that could be the big person and be like, hey, I wasn't great at what I did, and I apologize for that. If you felt like
right, but how many years ago was this?
15 years ago, 14 years ago, 15.
Right. I'm holding on to something since 5th grade. I'm not even kidding you. My mother and my brother will always make fun of me. It's this boy who relentlessly went and got the other boys from my class and would make fun of me every single day.
Really?
Well, that's it. And I mean, it was...
In 5th grade, they made fun of you, and you're still holding on to that?
Oh, yeah, I'm still holding on. Well, it's not even the boys. It's that one boy.
Who started it?
The worst part about it is, it's my mom's best friend's son.
Really?
Yep. And here's the thing. I don't know if he even remembers that. What do you think? I mean, because honestly, like, we never even saw each other growing up. And the worst part, too. This is what really kills me. This is the one thing.
Go ahead. Let it out, Janine. We've reached the therapy portion of the show.
We go to our 6th grade, like, field trip. Like, the end of the year, like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We go to Howe Caverns. Big bus of us. On the way there, he made fun of my fake Fila sneakers in front of the whole bus. And I was so mad.
Did you have fake Fila slippers?
Yes, I did. Sneakers.
Well, think about the Fila people and all the money you were taking out of their pocket.
Maybe they weren't Fila. They were Tila. But the thing is, like, honestly, like, we went to different high schools, so we didn't see each other then. And like, even after that, we haven't seen each other in years. 2 years ago, I had to see him at something. And believe it or not, he kissed me hello. But that was it.
Didn't say anything else.
Like, no. And if we did run into each other in the neighborhood, like, we would completely ignore each other. Like, we would never even say hello. Like, if I saw him, I would look the other way. And him the same.
Yeah.
But you bet I still hold a grudge.
See, now, I wonder if you're thinking, I wonder if he's going to apologize to me, this piece of garbage, for what he did. And I wonder if he's thinking, I hope she's forgiven me for how stupid I was as a 5th grader.
No. Because it was not just fifth grade, it was sixth grade too.
But my point being, I wonder if he's sitting there feeling
No, I know.
similar,
Like how you're feeling.
how I'm feeling. Like, I wish,
That's a good question.
because
I really wonder.
if he goes, look, Janine, obviously you've grown up, you got a beautiful family, a husband, all that stuff. You look great, this and that. When we were in fifth and sixth grade, I was kind of a jerk and blah blah blah, and I want to say I'm sorry for it. And you turn around and go, I don't even remember you back then. Like that's the that's the burn. That's
You
why
know what
we
I would
can't
say?
apologize.
I would say, you know what? I don't accept it. No, I would accept it.
I swear to God, this should be a television show.
It should be. Because you know what? Like, you don't know if those people are holding on to it. Just like he doesn't. I don't think he cares enough. I don't think he remembers it.
Yeah.
Like, to be like, you know what? I was such a
Right.
sorry. I don't think he's thinking what you're thinking. Nope.
You don't think so?
Nope. Absolutely
I think
not.
that's just your impression of him. I think that's just because you have that impression of him because he was mean to you.
I mean, you can ask me if I saw him in the street, would I save his life?
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. That bad, huh? That bad, huh? Don't feel bad for having that list. We all have that list. I got that list.
No.
I got that list. Like if a bus is coming, you'd be like, hey, oh,
I can help you.
never mind. Hey, there's a car. Oh, no, never mind. Never mind.
Ah!
Not going to tell you about the car.
No. All joking aside. You really don't know. But you're right. This should be like a TV show.
This
Like,
would
do
be
you remember when you did this?
This would be a hilarious show that like any comic could host of like you find
Adam
people.
Sandler. Did you hurt her feelings? Sheesh.
Were you a little bully? Yeah, like where they find the people and they were like, look, I did this awful thing to this person, or this person did this awful thing to me, and they put the two of them together and see if they can.
Like, do you
resolve it.
apologize to her? Do you apologize to him?
Yeah, and do you accept?
Do you accept it?
That'd
Like,
be
do you
amazing.
accept this rose? Do you accept this apology?
Yeah, I would watch
like where
that.
you're going with this. I'm gonna be the host.
No, because you're gonna carry all your baggage in there, and you'll be like, "That is not a good apology. Don't accept that
You know what?
apology."
Do over. Do over.
All right. I think there's something to this because I think a lot of people are holding on to past work grudges and past, school grudges and things like that.
Fifth grade grudges.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. You know, what's funny though? Like I think about this from time to time. There was a girl who said something mean about me. And I just remember I didn't get hurt by it, but I just didn't care. And it was funny because she said it and I heard it. Like she was like not that far away and I heard it and people were like, "Oh, he's right there." And I just remember thinking I could care less what you think.
Do you remember what it was? Do you want to share what it was?
It's super embarrassing. I do remember.
Just say it, Aunt. Just say it.
I don't know if I should say this. I can't believe I'm going to say this. This was around the time where, I don't even know what grade this was, but we were far too immature, but graffiti was a big deal in New York. And everybody would come up with their own little
Yes.
Do you remember what it was called?
What was it?
Used to call it your tag name because you used to
I was going to
tag.
say tag. I was going to say that.
Yeah. So being the good little Christian, Catholic school kids that we were, we didn't actually write graffiti on any walls, but you would get notebooks and you would do your little, and it was actually like an art form too, now that I think about it, but whatever. I don't even remember what the tag name was, to be honest with you, but I just remember her saying it was a stupid name. That's all.
You know it. You remember the name.
I have to really think about it. I don't really remember what the name was.
So that's embarrassing?
No, it wasn't embarrassing, but everybody acted like it was a big deal because she said it and I heard it and she didn't think that I was going to hear it. But I just remember thinking,
Oh,
like, I don't really care
care.
what you think. And there is still a part of me that wants to just like reemphasize that. Like I'm not mad. It's not a grudge. I just want you to know that I didn't care then and still don't care now.
Right. Like, I just want to emphasize that please don't
Yeah.
make fun of my fake Fila sneakers.
But it's weird what you remember because again, that stays with me. And the part that
It stays with you, right?
the thing that irks me is that I didn't do a good enough job conveying how much I could care less what this person really thought about anything, you know?
I get
So,
it.
but those Fila sneakers, that's a tough one. By the way, I am not looking forward to that time where my
I
kids
know.
are old enough to understand what like brands are and things, and then you got to start competing with other kids and stuff.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Ugh, I'm not looking forward to that at all. At all. Frank finally watched The Social Dilemma, so we can now do our Social Dilemma dedicated podcast.
Good.
Yeah, we just have to figure out when.
All right.
All right, there, J Sabs. Let's leave it there. Thanks to the Hero Soap Company for being amazing sponsors. Again, every bar of soap you buy, they send a bar of soap to a active troop member of the service. Money that comes in from sales goes to helping build mortgage-free homes for veterans, which is absolutely tremendous. You can save 20% off on a subscription with the code Anthony. If you just want to buy a bar of soap and try it out, go ahead and do that. I'm confident enough that you'll love it. Click the link in the banner or hit the banner on anthonyonair.com on the homepage over there. I think they're doing pretty well, Hero Soap Company. A lot of people are buying their soaps. And
Good.
yeah, I'm excited because they only came on board with us a couple weeks ago, so I can't wait to hear some of the people's feedback on what they think of the soap because I actually love it. I think it's the best soap I've ever had. So we'll leave it there. J-Sabs, anything else?
Don't be a bully.
Don't be a bully. Don't say be
2020.
kind because Ellen said that once and she really regretted it because she was mean.
Yeah, because she's a bully.
All right, we'll catch you on the next episode. Remember to tweet at us, get all our links and information over at anthonyonair.com. Appreciate all the comments, and we'll see you guys next time.